Hey PB, can you be a sport and stop moving around so much so I can get a scan of your ass? I gotta put it in the codex. Cora didn't give me such a hard fucking time. That would have been a better game. Ass effect, ButtRompeda. I'd rather be showing you that than this. The more butts there are equals more pooping. One of my wildest dreams is to be able to coexist in a world where poop and lack of gravity can coexist. Every trip to the toilet's going to be an adventure. No longer are the flushes going to be so predictable. It could go up, it could go sideways, and maybe, quite possibly, it could go down.
Exhale. That's it. And again. 5, 6, 7. Hey, I want to dance with somebody. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now double here. That's it. You're doing fantastic.
You might be asking yourself, what the fuck is this video? I don't know. That's a good question. I can't answer that. What I do know is that more than likely this video is going to get claimed for using that tiny amount of music without permission, and if that does happen, shame on me, I know better. But I just don't really give a fuck anymore, to be honest with you. I mean, seriously, I'll make 0 cents instead of, say, I don't know, $1. So as long as it goes to Richard Simmons, I'm okay with it. What I'm not okay with is how these developers seem to not know what a Mass Effect game is, or more importantly, how to make one. I have come to realize that the more I actually play this game, the more I actually hate it. I went and checked how many hours I have clocked in with this game, and it was shocking. Shocking because any other game I ran the other way a long time ago and never looked back. The reality is that I'm still here because I'm looking for some redeeming quality when it comes to, okay, this feels like Mass Effect. This is Mass Effect. But I seem to be striking out when it comes to that. I have been putting up with a lot of bullshit, a lot of tedious, busy work that I otherwise, in any other game, would be extremely critical about. More importantly, I wouldn't put up with it. But I find myself putting up with quite a bit here, that again, otherwise I would not. And I come to realize it's because I have this mindset. Eventually we're going to get some sort of an experience where it's going to make it all worth it. Or what many would consider to be a payoff, but it just doesn't come. Or I should say, hasn't come. Let me try to explain when it comes to how stark the contrast is when it comes to this compared to, say, Mass Effect 3, when it comes to my experiences with both of them. In 3, I couldn't wait till the combat was over so I can continue talking with NPCs, continue the dialogue when it comes to my squad mates, as well as re-engaging as far as the story's concerned. And when it comes to the dialogue, I was laser focused and would hardly ever skip any kind of dialogue or cutscene. But in this game, I find myself blasting through most of the dialogue in order to get back to the combat. I haven't changed. My taste when it comes to video games hasn't changed. In other words, it's not like I'm more of a shooter fan nowadays than I was, say, when Mass Effect 3 was out. And my expectations when it comes to a Mass Effect game hasn't changed either. So what has changed? I know the answer. It's a really simple answer. I don't think I'm going to have to spell it out for you. I think you're smart enough to figure it out for yourself, but if you do want me to spell it out, ask me down below and I'll spend the time trying to do my best doing just that. It's quite possible that somebody that has no standard or expectation put in place when it comes to the Mass Effect experience may be a little bit more forgiving when it comes to certain things, but there are also parts of this game that I think are universally unforgivable. Some of the most laziest uninspired design that I have seen in quite some time. And I'm not exaggerating. And it'd be one thing if it was just the tasks or the optional missions that were affected. That would be one thing. But when it's the actual main missions, stuff that is critical to moving the game along, well, I feel there's nothing worse that you can do than make it feel like you're wasting a gamer's time. And if I'm just coming from the docks, and you end up sending me over to the operations center, only to send me back to the docks, only to send me back to the operations center, only to send me over to the cryo, only to send me back to the operations center, only to send me back to the fucking docks, that is not only a huge waste of my fucking time, but I find it insulting when it comes to this is the best you could come up with, and more importantly, this is what you're asking us to do. Play a glorified game of virtual tag. Sometimes they will cover it up. Okay, make an attempt to give you a reasonable excuse why you have to meet people in person, such as the line not being secured and things like that. But for the other 90% of the time, why is it, with all this technology, I can't just get on my fucking Omni tool and communicate with people like that? And while on the surface there is tons of content in this game, a lot of it extremely generic, and you will be shocked when you start taking a hard look at what you've done and what you're continuing to do, realizing, hey, wait a minute, I'm doing the same exact shit over and over and over again. It's a good thing my scanner doesn't need batteries, because I'd be fucked. It's almost insultingly mind-boggling how much they actually rely on this scanning. The way that I feel is that they're using it as a crutch for their lack of creativity when it comes to cool ideas as far as mission design or variety is concerned. It's bad enough that it's an integral part of the game when it comes to gathering resources or research points, should I say. So it's something you're going to be doing already. And it's one thing to actually have the scanning be a part of a design that has many more moving parts. That would be okay. That would be one thing. But stuff like, hey, go down to this planet because you can't use your video conference nor your Omnito because of decryption reasons or some security flaw or whatever fucking excuse, if they even bother giving you one. Talk to this guy, and he's going to have you scan shit because nobody else has that technology or can be trusted to do so. 3 or 4 different fucking times. Of course, they're going to be on the completely opposite ends of the map, therefore they can really stretch this content out really thin. And then you're going to go back to the guy and he's going to tell you to go and do some more fucking errands, because in the end, you're an over-glorified errand boy, for the most part, while doing heroic shit the rest of the time.
Hey, come dance with